Before we start, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, then do it now. This is how long it will take to binge 20 of Netflix's most watched series. Entertainment lovers are admittedly obsessed with binge-watching television series, and because of this we decided to do a little research into just how long it would take TV fans to devour every episode of 20 of Netflix's most binged shows. Number 1. Dead to Me. Dead to Me is an American black comedy web television series created by Liz Feldman, which first premiered on May 3, 2019 on Netflix. It stars Christina Applegate and Linda Cardellini as two grieving women who bond during therapy, and it is executive produced by Feldman, Will Ferrell, Adam McKay, and Jessica Elbaum. Dead to Me, Jen and Judy's story will continue into a second season, which is just around the corner. To get caught up on the first season, which consisted of 10 episodes, you'll need 4 hours and 53 minutes. Number 2. The Umbrella Academy. On October 1, 1989, 43 women around the world give birth simultaneously, despite none of them showing any sign of pregnancy until labor began. 7 of the children are adopted by eccentric billionaire Sir Reginald Hargreaves and turned into a superhero team in what he calls the Umbrella Academy. The Umbrella Academy. To watch the first season's 10 episodes, you'll need 9 hours and 7 minutes. No. 3. The Santa Clarita Diet. Joel and Sheila Hammond are everyday suburban real estate agents in Santa Clarita, California. The couple face a series of obstacles when Sheila undergoes a metamorphosis, becomes undead and starts craving human flesh. As Joel and the family try to help Sheila through the metamorphosis, they have to deal with neighbors, cultural norms, and get to the bottom of a potentially mythological mystery. The Santa Clarita Diet. To get through 3 seasons, 30 episodes, it will take you 14 hours and 19 minutes. Number 4. Big Mouth. The series follows a group of 7th graders, including best friends Nick Burge and Andrew Gluberman, as they navigate their way through puberty with struggles like masturbation and sexual arousal, all in the suburbs of New York City. Acting as over-sexualized shoulder angels are the Hormone Monsters, Morris Connie, the Hormone Monstress, and Mona. Throughout the series, the kids interact with people and objects who are often personified and offer helpful, yet confusing, advice in their puberty-filled lives, including the ghost of Duke Ellington, a French-accented Statue of Liberty, a pillow capable of getting pregnant, a bar of Adderall, and even Jesse's own vulva. They seek out their destiny as puberty destroys them mentally and physically. Big Mouth. 3 seasons and 31 episodes will take you 14 hours and 19 minutes. Number 5. Atypical. Sam Gardner, an 18-year-old from Connecticut with autism, announces that he wants to start dating girls. His father, Doug, has struggled to connect with Sam and is thrilled when Sam approaches him for advice. When Sam wants to surprise his crush with chocolate-covered strawberries, Doug drives him to her house only to discover that Sam's crush is Julia, Sam's 26-year-old therapist. Doug quickly pulls Sam away and tells him to find a girlfriend his own age. Sam decides he needs a practice girlfriend and, with the help of his friends and family, begins to learn the social nuances of dating. Atypical. There are 3 seasons, 28 episodes of this show, which will take 14 hours and 36 minutes to binge. Number 6. The first season follows the story of Joe Goldberg, a bookstore manager in New York, who upon meeting Guinevere Beck, an aspiring writer, becomes infatuated with her. He feeds his toxic obsession using social media and other technology to track her presence and remove obstacles to their romance. In the second season, Joe Goldberg moves from New York to Los Angeles to escape his past and starts over with a new identity. When he meets savage chef Lover Quinn, Joe begins falling into his old patterns of obsession and violence. As Joe attempts to forge a new love in the City of Angels, he strives to make his relationship with love succeed at all costs. To avoid the fate of his past romantic endeavors, To get through 2 seasons 20 episodes, you'll need 15 hours and 29 minutes. Number 7. Designated Survivor. On the night of the State of the Union, an explosion destroys the Capitol building, killing the president and everyone in the line of succession except for Secretary of Housing and Urban Development Thomas Kirkman, who had been named the designated survivor. Kirkman is immediately sworn in, unaware that the attack is just the beginning of what is to come. Designated Survivor, the 3 seasons and 53 episodes of this fan favorite will take a total of 1 day, 15 hours and 53 minutes to binge. Number 8. Mindhunter. Mindhunter revolves around FBI agents Holden Ford and Bill Tench, along with psychologist Wendy Carr, who operate the FBI's Behavioral Science Unit within the Training Division at the FBI Academy in Quantico, Virginia. They interview imprisoned serial killers to understand how they think, with the hope of applying this knowledge to solve ongoing cases. Season 1 is set in 1977 to 1980. In the early days of criminal psychology and criminal profiling at the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Notorious serial killer Edmund Kemper has a recurring role in this season as he assists Ford and Tench in understanding how a serial killer's mind works. Season 2 is set in 1980 through 1981 and covers the Atlanta murders of 1979 to 81. This is based on the real case of Wayne Williams, who was charged for the murder of 2 adult men but was never found guilty of killing at least 28 children and adolescents. Mindhunter. There are 2 seasons and 27 episodes to get through, which will take 16 hours and 59 minutes. Number 9. One Day at a Time. The series depicts the everyday life of a Cuban-American family, with each character finding their own journey. Following the story of Penelope Alvarez, a United States Army Nurse Corps veteran facing a return to civilian life with a lot of unresolved issues from her time in the Army. She works as a nurse in the office of Dr. Leslie Berkowitz. After her husband's alcoholism due to post-traumatic stress disorder (PTSD) from his time in the Army made it, in Penelope's words, unsafe to be in the house, she separates from Victor, taking the children with her. With the help of a Cuban mother, Lydia Riera, she is raising 2 children, Elena and Alex. Apart from planning her daughter's quinceañera, Penelope starts dating and finds a love interest. Elena, resistant to have a quinces, starts dating a teenager from her class to later realize that she is a lesbian. After struggling in ways to tell her family about her sexuality, she finds the right time to come out. The story continues to Season 2-3. One Day at a Time. You'll need 18 hours and 5 minutes of watch time to binge through 3 seasons and 39 episodes. Number 10. Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Sabrina Spellman must reconcile her dual nature as a half-witch, half-mortal while fighting the evil forces that threaten her. Her family and the daylight world humans inhabit. Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. This series requires 19 hours and 9 minutes from your schedule for 2 seasons, 20 episodes. Number 11. Queer Eye is an American reality television series that premiered on the cable television network Bravo in July 2003. Originally Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, the title was later shortened to broaden the overall scope. The series was created by executive producers David Collins and Michael Williams along with David Metzler through their company, Scout Productions. Each episode features a team of gay professionals in the fields of fashion, personal grooming, interior design, entertaining and culture, collectively known as Thick Fab Five, performing a makeover, usually for a heterosexual man, revamping wardrobe, redecorating, and offering advice on grooming, lifestyle, and food. Queer Eye 2 seasons and 27 episodes will take you 20 hours and 48 minutes. Number 12. Black Mirror. Black Mirror is a British dystopian science fiction anthology television series created by Charlie Brooker. He and Annabelle Jones are the program's showrunners. It examines modern society, particularly with regard to the unanticipated consequences of new technologies. Episodes are standalone, usually set in an alternative prison for the near future, often with a dark and satirical tone. Although some are more experimental and lighter. Black Mirror was inspired by older anthology series, such as The Twilight Zone, which Brooker felt were able to deal with controversial, contemporary topics with less fear of censorship than other more realistic programs. Brooker developed Black Mirror to highlight topics related to humanity's relationship with technology, creating stories that feature the way we live now and the way we might be living in 10 minutes' time if we're clumsy. Black Mirror. To get through this brilliant mind-bending anthology series, you'll need 21 hours and 31 minutes to binge 22 episodes over its 5-season run. Fans are awaiting news of a 6th season, but nothing has been confirmed yet. Number 13. Stranger Things is an American science fiction, drama, horror web television series created by the Duffer Brothers and released on Netflix. The twins serve as showrunners and are executive producers along with Sean Levy and Dan Cohen. The series premiered on Netflix on July 15, 2016. Set in the 1980s in the fictional town of Hawkins, Indiana, the first season focuses on the investigation into the disappearance of a young boy amid supernatural events occurring around the town, including the appearance of a girl with psychokinetic abilities. The series stars an ensemble cast including Winona Ryder, David Harbour, Finn Wolfhard, Millie Bobby Brown, Guten Matarazzo, Caleb McLaughlin, Noah Schnapp, Sadie Sink, Natalia Dyer, Charlie Heaton, Joe Keery and Cara Buono. The Duffer Brothers developed the series as a mix of investigative drama alongside supernatural elements portrayed with horror, science fiction and childlike sensibilities. Setting the series in the 1980s, the Duffer Brothers infused references to the pop culture of that decade, while several themes and directorial aspects were inspired primarily by the works of Steven Spielberg, John Carpenter, and Stephen King, as well as anime and video games. They also took inspiration from strange experiments that took place during the Cold War and real-world conspiracy theories involving secret government experiments. Stranger Things. As the most binged Netflix show, fans will need to plan for 21 hours and 49 minutes to watch all 3 seasons, 25 episodes. Number 14. Marvel's The Punisher, or simply The Punisher, is an American web television series created for Netflix by Steve Lightfoot based on the Marvel Comics character of the same name. It is set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe (MCU), sharing continuity with the films and other television series of the franchise, and is a spin-off of Marvel's Daredevil. The series is produced by Marvel Television in association with ABC Studios and Bohemian Risk Productions, with Lightfoot serving as showrunner. The series revolves around Frank Castle, who uses lethal methods to fight crime as the vigilante, The Punisher, with Jon Bernthal reprising the role from Daredevil. Ben Barnes, Amber Rose Raver, Jason Ardmore, and Deborah Ann Wall also star. They are joined by Eben Moss-Bichrach, Daniel Weber, Paul Schulzer, Michael Nathanson, and Jamie Ray Newman in the first season, with Josh Stewart, Gloriana Lima, and Georgia Wiggum joining for the second season. A television series centered on The Punisher received a pilot commitment at Fox in 2011, but that project fell through. In June 2015, Bernthal was cast as the character to appear in the second season of Daredevil. Development on a spin-off titled The Punisher began by January 2016, before the second season of Daredevil was released. In April 2016, Marvel and Netflix ordered the series, confirmed Bernthal's involvement, and announced Lightfoot as executive producer and showrunner. The series was filmed in New York City. Marvel's The Punisher. It will take 22 hours and 51 minutes to binge 2 seasons and 26 episodes. Number 15. Marvel's Jessica Jones, or simply Jessica Jones, is an American web television series created for Netflix by Melissa Rosenberg based on the Marvel Comics character of the same name. It is set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe (MCU). sharing continuity with the films of the franchise, and is the second in a series of shows that led to the Defenders crossover mini-series. The series is produced by Marvel Television in association with ABC Studios and Tall Girls Productions, with Rosenberg serving as showrunner. Scott Reynolds was a co-showrunner for the third season. Kristen Ritter stars as Jessica Jones, a former superhero who opens her own detective agency. Rachel Taylor Ecordowell and Carrie Annie Moss also star, with Mike Walter, Will Trevald, Erin Moriarty, and David Tennant joining them for the first season. J.R. Ramirez, Terry Chen, Leah Gibson and Janet McTeer joining the cast for second season, and Benjamin Walker, Sarita Choudhury, Jeremy Bobb, and Tiffany Mack joining for the third season. Marvel's Jessica Jones. For all 3 seasons and 39 episodes, you'll need 1 day, 9 hours and 7 minutes. Number 16. The Ranch. The show takes place on the fictional Iron River Ranch near the fictitious small town of Garrison, Colorado, detailing the life of the Bennetts, a dysfunctional family consisting of 2 brothers, their rancher father and his estranged wife. A local bar owner. The ranch set aside 1 day, 11 hours and 54 minutes to get through all 7 seasons. Number 17. 13 Reasons Why is a young adult novel written in 2007 by Jay Asher. It is the story of a young high school student as she descends into despair brought on by betrayal and bullying, culminating with her suicide. She details the 13 reasons why she was driven to end her life in an audio diary which is mailed to a friend 2 weeks after her death. 13 Reasons Why has received recognition and awards from several young adult literary associations, and the paperback edition reached number 1 on the New York Times bestseller list in July 2011. A screenplay was written, based on the original release of the book, that became the basis of the dramatic television series 13 Reasons Why, released through Netflix on March 31, 2017. The screenplay contains several deviations from the book, including additional characters and storylines. 13 Reasons Why. 1 day, 12 hours and 51 minutes is how much time you'll need to get through all 3 seasons, 39 episodes. Number 18. The series follows Grace, a retired cosmetics mogul, and Frankie, a hippie art teacher, whose husbands Robert and Saul are successful divorce lawyers in San Diego. Grace and Frankie's lives are turned upside down when Robert and Saul announce that they are in love with each other and are leaving their wives. Now, the women, who have never particularly liked each other, are forced to live together and learn to unite and cope with difficulties. Grace and Frankie. This delightful comedy consists of 6 seasons and 78 episodes so far, which will take you 1 day, 14 hours and 5 minutes to watch. There will only be 1 additional season of this one, unfortunately. Number 19. Lucifer. One of my favorite series. The series focuses on Lucifer Morningstar Tom Ellis, a beautiful and powerful angel who was cast out of heaven for betrayal. As the devil, he gets bored and unhappy as the Lord of Hell for millennia. He resigns his throne in defiance to his father, God, and abandons his kingdom for Los Angeles, where he ends up running his own nightclub called Lux. He becomes involved in a murder case with Detective Chloe Decker, Lauren German, and is subsequently invited to be a consultant to the LAPD. Throughout the series, several celestial and demonic threats come to Los Angeles. At the same time, Lucifer and Chloe end up appreciating and being happy with each other. Lucifer. This show takes the second longest amount of time to get through. To watch all 4 seasons, 67 episodes, you'll need to set aside 2 days, 1 hour and 57 minutes. Number 20. Orange is the New Black. The series begins revolving around Piper Chapman, a woman in her 30s living in New York City who is sentenced to 15 months in Litchfield Penitentiary, a minimum security women's federal prison in upstate New York. Chapman was convicted of transporting a suitcase full of drug money for her girlfriend Alex was, an international drug smuggler. The offense had occurred 10 years before the start of the series, and in that time Chapman had moved on to a quiet, law-abiding life among New York's upper middle class. His sudden and unexpected indictment disrupts her relationships with her fiancé, family and friends. In prison, Chapman is reunited with Waz, who named Chapman in her trial, resulting in Chapman's arrest and the re-examine their relationship. Simultaneously, Chapman, along with the other inmates, attempt to grapple with prison's numerous inherent struggles. Episodes often feature flashbacks of significant events from various inmates and prison guards' pasts. These flashbacks typically depict how an inmate came to be in prison or develop a character's backstory. The prison is initially operated by the Federal Department of Corrections, and was in a later season acquired by the Management and Correction Corporation (MCC), a private prison company. Orange is the new color. This show will take up a lot of your time at over 90 hours, 3 days, 18 hours and 21 minutes to binge 7 seasons and 91 episodes. That was it for today. Don't forget to hit that red button under the video to get updated with the daily dose of technical footy.